Hi, you're watching a Podology video looking at 10 introductory terms for you to use within sociology. The first of our terms is culture, and culture refers to a way of life for a particular society. So for example, we would say that Britain has its own culture. But think how different British culture is compared to that of the culture of an Inuit. The day in and day out activities and tasks are hugely different. Not only does culture differ from place to place, but it also differs over time. Here we have a picture depicting folk culture, and folk culture refers to how people lived in basic pre-industrial times. Compare that culture to how we live now, with mass and popular culture all around us in the form of technology, media and so on. So remember, when you're talking about culture, it differs from society to society, but culture also differs over time. As well as culture, we have identity, and your identity is how you view yourself, but also how you present yourself to others. Take this female. She has a strong identity. By using piercings, tattoos, dreadlocks and colour in her hair, she's sending out non-verbal communications to others. She's telling other people about her personality by not actually having to say anything. She has a strong personal identity. Not only do individuals have identity, but so do places. If you look at this image, a country should be popping into your mind straight away. Now the reason that you're thinking of Ireland is because it has a strong identity. We associate the colour green, shamrocks, Guinness, etc. It has a cultural and a national identity. So remember, for identity, we're not just talking about individual identity, we can also refer to national identity. So how is it that we learn our culture and identity? Well, it happens through a process, and we refer to this process as socialization. The process of learning and passing on expected forms of behaviour, and this tends to happen in two stages. The first stage is primary socialization, and this happens between the ages of 0 and about 3. And this is where you're learning from your parents, the basic things you need as a human: walking, talking, communication, basic manners and so on. As you get a little bit older, from 3+, you start to move into secondary socialization, and here you're learning from other institutions, such as from your teachers in education, and also from media, television, internet and so on. These institutions that you learn from are referred to as agents of socialization. We could also include religion, government, etc. in that. So remember, for socialization, you have both primary socialization and secondary socialization. What socialization also teaches you is norms, and norms is the social rules about the correct form of behaviour in any given situation. So for example, it's a norm to be naked in the shower, but it isn't a norm to be naked when you go to the gym. What we're doing here is taking the same behaviour, nudity, but it can be very different in two different situations. One it's a norm and one it isn't. We can also see how this changes from place to place. So for example, in Britain it is a norm to walk your dog, but did you know in Korea it's a norm to eat dog? So for norms, think of the word normal, right? It's short for normal. What are the social rules about correct behaviour in any given situation? Our fifth term is values, and values is what we hold on to be important in our lives. What are our personal beliefs and our goals? So for example, in Britain we'd probably say that we have quite a strong family value. We really appreciate time with our families and the importance of childhood. We also value equality. If you think about the amount of information and laws that go into making sure that we don't have racism, sexism and so on, we have a strong value attached to equality. So remember, values, what we hold to be important, our personal beliefs and our goals. Our sixth term is roles, and roles refers to the parts that people play in society. So for example, in this picture we have one person playing the role of mother or parent. The others are playing the role of children, but they're also playing the role of sisters. In the next picture we can see one person playing the role of pupil, but one person playing the role of teacher. As well as roles, the idea of someone like a teacher brings us on to our next term. A teacher has something that is called status. Your status is your social standing or position in society. We tend to talk about many occupations having a high status or a low status depending on the qualifications that are actually attached to it. But we can further subdivide status into what's called ascribed or achieved. Ascribed refers to the statuses that you have that are fixed from birth. So, for example, the Queen inherited her status from her father. So it's ascribed, it's fixed, it was there from birth. This differs to what's called an achieved status. An achieved status refers to something that is earned through education and work. So, for example, the status of a doctor is very much on the achieved side as opposed to ascribed stage. So, for status, remember, you can talk about high status, low status, ascribed status, and achieved status. Our 8th term is socially constructed. And what socially constructed means is whereby society defines expectations for a certain role or behaviour. It is, if you like, the difference between nature and nurture. Whereas some things are natural and biological, most of our expectations and behaviours are set by society. So, for example, there is a difference between your sex and your gender. Your sex is your biological differences between male and female, whereas gender is simply society's expectations for males or females. So, for example, there's no biological reason why we associate housework more with females. There's no biological reason why we associate the man as being the breadwinner, but they are socially constructed values, decided by society as opposed to a natural behaviour. So what we're seeing so far throughout this video is that there's a huge amount of diversity, and diversity is our 9th term. Diversity refers to a variety of differing views and opinions. So, for example, in some societies, it's expected for females to cover up, to cover their body, whereas in other societies, it's perfectly acceptable for females to show lots of flesh. Neither is right or wrong, but it simply shows diversity, differing views and opinions from place to place and over time as well. Now, it's this diversity and difference of opinions which takes us on to our last 10th term. Within sociology, there are lots of different people that have differing views, and they go towards making up our perspectives. So perspectives refers to the sociological groups with differing beliefs and values. So, for example, there are groups such as functionists, and functionist ideas differ dramatically to those of Marxists, who in turn differ to those of interactionists, who in turn differ to those of feminists. Within sociology, there's a whole range of different perspectives, and each one of these perspectives has a different set of core values and beliefs. So there are our 10 terms. If you need more information or would like to watch more videos or listen to podcasts, then please visit our key website www.podology.org.uk and choose the sociology section. Thank you.